Hello and welcome to 𝐿𝐭𝐴𝐧𝐧𝐞𝐿 Bundesliga last match day 34, and we had so many surprises. I'm sure you all know about it, but Borussia Dortmund can be crowned champions. Radek Vegas, this weekend, how are you?
Yeah, I'm also surprised a bit, but they should win against Mainz and then they will be champion. Otherwise, it can be another change and twist in the story. But yeah, I'm really, really excited for this game day.
Maybe there is another twist. Who knows? Remember, guys, to tell us your tips. And of course, press the like and subscribe. And now let's go on with the show. And still many things to be decided, because we have to talk about the European spots, about the Champions League, about the relegation battle. So a very interesting match day on Saturday, 3:30 p.m. German time. Let's start trying to make some money with Gladbach, Augsburg. Radek, Augsburg, they are still not safe, 2 points above Bochum. I guess it's going to be very unlikely for them to fall into the bottom three, but who knows? And we know that Gladbach, usually, they are strong at home, and they got a point that no one expected against Leverkusen, especially when they were 2-0 down.
Yeah, and we all should know that Gladbach is a very strong home team. On the other hand, Gladbach is one of the teams which conceded the most goals, fourth most goals after Hertha, Schalke and Bochum. So yeah, they're not safe until they make one or better, maybe even 3 last points. But in Gladbach, it seems to be hard. But Gladbach has nothing to play for, really, just for their audience, and it will be the last game of their captain. Stindl is going in the second league to Karlsruhe after this year. So I think he wants to finish his long term in Gladbach with a goal, at least one, and a victory, of course. That can be the problem for Augsburg, because Gladbach should be better. And at the end, yeah, this will be very, very interesting in the bottom of the standings. We have Augsburg with 34 points, and behind there's Stuttgart with 32 and Bochum with 32. And also Schalke with 31, but they have the far worse goal difference. So they are safe from being relegated, but not from the third last spot, and which also had a game. So yeah, they need a point at the end. I think they can make a point, but I still like a bet on Gladbach because they are home team, and we get really good odds on Asian handicap 0 on Gladbach. The odds are 1.7. And if there's a draw, we get our money back, which is good, because I think there can be a draw for sure. And then Augsburg will be finally safe, I hope.
Indeed, because if Stuttgart, later we will analyze it, Stuttgart, Hoffenheim and Bochum, Leverkusen, if they both win, Augsburg can be in trouble. Now, the game of the games, all the eyes on Dortmund. Mainz, I guess it's very unlikely to see another turn, Radek, because remember that Dortmund, they've won the last 11 games at home in the Bundesliga since they drew with Bayern Munich. So the last title was in 2012 with Jürgen Klopp on the bench. Now perhaps the wait is over and they can win another Bundesliga.
Yeah, and we've been waiting for that really, really long, and it's so close, but it's not so easy to win against Mainz. Bayern might tell you the story because they lost against Mainz, but on the other hand, Dortmund won all last 4 games against Mainz, and also Mainz is not the best away team. They collected most of their points at home, but to be honest, 21 away, 24 at home. That's not a real big difference. So Mainz is able to win away as well. And they also might see their chances to go to the international spots on position 8. Maybe if everything works out right, maybe position 8 will also lead them into the international spots somehow. But I think they are not strong enough to beat Dortmund at the moment, because the last results of Mainz were really bad. They had now 4 losses in a row. And so we might think that Dortmund is easily winning this with odds of 1.2. That is ridiculous low, as we've seen a lot of bad games of Borussia Dortmund in this season, and I won't put my money on Dortmund. On the other hand, I really like the Asian handicap, plus 2.25 on Mainz. That is one of the highest line I've seen in this whole season, and that is for a team like Mainz. I would say there is a kind of a bit of a value that Mainz can make this game close. I don't know which motivation Mainz has. That's the key. We have to figure out which players will be on the pitch half an hour in front of the start of the game. If Mainz is taking this game seriously, then I have small hopes that Mainz can make even a point here, and that Bayern Munich will be champion at the end. But on the other hand, maybe Dortmund can continue their good run, and then I don't really want to say that they deserve it, because a champion who lost so many games and is only champion because the other team is in their really bad situation, I really don't like this much. But for the most people in Germany, it's good because they don't like Bayern Munich. For me, it's I would be nice if Dortmund had a really good season, but they also were really terrible this year. So not really a compliment for the Bundesliga, this whole thing.
Well, 7 defeats this season for Dortmund. So for sure they lost so many games. Only 1 defeat at home, only 1 draw at home. This is where they built their strength, and now they have to beat Mainz, and they will be crowned champions. 1.3, of course. They are super favorites. Let's try to find better odds, perhaps in the next one. Freiburg, and this one is very important, especially for Freiburg, still with a great chance to play Champions League next season. They have the same points as Union Berlin. For Frankfurt, Radek, I guess they are only waiting for the cup final. They are 3 points away now from the 6th spot from Leverkusen. As we all know, they've been doing a terrible end of the season.
Yeah, but the last 2 games, they didn't lose. They made a point against Schalke. Could have been more, could have been less. So at the end, okay. And they won against Mainz at home. So last 2 games were okay for Frankfurt. And Freiburg was also able to bounce back after they lost the important game against Union Berlin with 2-4 at Berlin. And now they are still with the same amount of points, but Union Berlin has a better goal difference with 4 goals in front of Freiburg. So they must hope that Union Berlin is not winning their game, and they have to make a point or even win at Frankfurt. And I think, because of Frankfurt might be more concentrated on the cup game, that Freiburg is able to make at least 1 point there. And that's why I like the balanced odds, where Freiburg is has the same odds like Frankfurt. And that's why I think a bit more value for Freiburg, because they have more to fight for, and that's why Asian Handicap 0 on Freiburg with odds of 2.0 is my bet here.
All right, really interesting also this fight between Union Berlin and Freiburg. Then the current champions still, Bayern Munich going to Cologne. I can imagine the crisis around Bayern Munich. Radek, they sacked Nagelsmann to fight for the treble with all the turmoil and the problems in the dressing room. And at the end of the season, it looks like they are gonna win 0 titles. This season, goodbye to the Cup, goodbye to the Champions League, and they said almost goodbye to the Bundesliga against Leipzig.
Yeah, and the situation around Nagelsmann was a really boomerang for Bayern Munich because they didn't make it better. They made maybe the worst decision or one of the worst decisions in this club ever, because I think if you give Nagelsmann more confidence and more time, it shouldn't be a question that Bayern Munich would have been champion 3 game days ago, and even maybe in the Champions League final. But we never know. It's just a guess. And fact that Bayern really has problems now, and it's almost impossible for them to be the champion this year. And there will be a lot of changes after this season. I think Hasan Salihamidzic and Oliver Kahn might have to leave the club, and which will be a really good thing, because with them in charge, the club was really going down, and not in success, but also in the image. And I really think that both of them did a horrible job, and not only the coach and the players, because you don't have to forget this team was able to beat Paris Saint-Germain with 0 goals conceded and advanced to the Champions League quarterfinals, and they lost against the upcoming Champions League champion maybe. And so the Bayern team is still one of the best teams in the world, and so for sure in this game they have to win against Cologne. They should win, and the odds of 1.3 are not really great. But what else shall we bet here? So just betting on Bayern Munich winning, and if they don't, okay. But I really won't put money in this game because there are no really attractive bets. I don't want to bet against Bayern Munich. I understand everyone who says why not, but I personally still think they can win every game, and if they have a tiny chance to the championship, they have to win this game and hope that Mainz also beats Dortmund, as Mainz was beating Bayern Munich some game days ago.
Well, it would be a favor from Mainz to Tuchel. We don't know what would have happened with Nagelsmann on the bench. It's science fiction, of course, but it's very difficult to do worse than Nagelsmann when he had the team with chances in all competitions. Well, the Grinch was Leipzig, the team able to beat Bayern in Munich, and good news also for Leipzig, because they are now qualified for the next Champions League. Perhaps they can win a title. They have the cup final, 5 consecutive victories for Leipzig. Let's see if they are relaxed and Schalke can win here. They need to win to save the category.
Oh yeah, I would like to see Schalke in the Bundesliga one year more, but just looking at the stats, it seems very hard to win at Leipzig. Only 2 losses at home for Leipzig. And after beating Bayern Munich, the only thing can be that they have the Bayern curse, and Schalke is able to make a point, or showed their best game in the world, but not far ago, Schalke lost against Bayern Munich 6-0. Now Leipzig was beating Bayern Munich 3-1. So not really any argument for Schalke here. Only hope, but I never bet on hope because that's not the best thing you can do. The odds on Leipzig are interesting, really interesting high with 1.7 or 1.6, depends where you bet. Just compare on Oddspedia. And I think this is pure value because Leipzig, in most of the games they should win against Schalke, and why should they give away points now?
Well, indeed, Schalke, it looks like they are going to Bundesliga 2. Next game, also important one, Stuttgart, Hoffenheim. Here we have Hoffenheim saved after the last victory in the previous game against Union Berlin, and Stuttgart, they got a key victory 4-1 away against Mainz, but Radek, they still need to win this one in case Bochum win the game or Schalke.
Yeah, so every team down below is better on winning games. And Stuttgart, was really surprising against Mainz. And also since former Hoffenheim coach Sebastian Hoeneß took over as coach of Stuttgart, Stuttgart was able to make really a lot of points. They were last in the standings when Hoeneß came to Stuttgart, and he till now made a really good job. And maybe Hoffenheim, who has nothing to fight for and is kind of a neighbor of Stuttgart, and also the team might do Hoeneß a favor because I think he also is a nice guy. So maybe Stuttgart should also make at least 1 point here. But the problem is that the odds on Stuttgart are really bad, because 1.6 for Stuttgart as a favorite, this is like a team which goes to the Champions League and not a team which is fighting against relegation. So these odds make absolutely no sense, as Hoffenheim on the other side was able to beat Union Berlin at the last game day with 4 goals. And so Hoffenheim is dangerous, and Stuttgart, might have some tough minutes in this game. At the end, I think, the best thing is to just enjoy this game day and not putting money on it. But if you're hardly searching for a bet here, I would say that a bet on Hoffenheim +1, Asian handicap +1 makes more sense, as you get your money back if Stuttgart wins with 1 goal in advantage. And in all other scenarios, you will win money, and Hoffenheim is strong enough to, at least take 1 point in Stuttgart in any other game. But maybe in the last game they might give away some presents. But you can't know, so you can't really bet on it.
Well, all the games are important. This one, of course, Stuttgart playing for their lives. They have to win. That's why they are very favorites against Hoffenheim. Also really favorites, Union Berlin playing at home against Werder Bremen. Nothing to play for Werder Bremen. And they are not ending well the season. Only 1 point in the last 4 games. By the way, the last 11 games I was checking for Werder Bremen ended in both teams to score. 11 games straight. And Union Berlin, Radek, they have to win to qualify for the Champions League. That would be a huge success.
Yeah, and funny thing, because I've also witnessed this stats on Oddspedia that Werder Bremen is one of the best both teams to score teams in the league. And so we can skip everything else and just watch on the both teams to score odds, because the odds are really high for that fact that Werder Bremen was able to score in almost any game in this season. And we get odds of 2.0 for that. And yeah, we just can't do that because the odds on Union Berlin are way too low with 1.3, as they also have the challenge to win the game. But they are a really good home team. But I think, Bremen can score in any game. Maybe Marvin Duksch wants to show again that he's worth to go to a bigger club like Dortmund. And so Bremen has to do some advertising for themselves. And I think, the odds are really great.
For both teams to score, you like here then?
Yeah.
Okay, odds are 2 indeed. The odds for Union Berlin to win are too low. Always compare the best odds and all the markets. We have them in Oddspedia. And now let's talk again about the relegation because we have Bochum in play-out spots. They are third from bottom. They could only get a draw against Hertha, and it was in the very last minute. But Leverkusen, Radek, they are also under pressure. They are out of the Europa League, as we all know, and they have to win to keep the 6th spot. But the record now is very bad. No victories in the last 6 games in all competitions.
Yes, and if you compare this with the Bochum run, they had only 2 losses in the last 6 games. And if you count the club friendly against Paderborn in that. And especially they made 4 points in the last 2 games. And that is a sign that Bochum is mentally strong. They have a really, really tough situation as they are fighting against relegation. And a few people have the hope that Bochum can compete with the teams in the Bundesliga, and they also made a point against Borussia Dortmund at home, and they are really a strong home team. So this will be really a big fight again for Bochum against Leverkusen. They are not without chances. That's why the odds are kind of high on Leverkusen. And I would say that is a kind of dangerous to bet on Leverkusen. But on the other hand, Leverkusen, as you mentioned, has also made some points. And in a normal game, I would say really great odds on Leverkusen. At the last game day, I would be double careful and say no personal money on it. But best bet is still that Leverkusen is winning, as they have a way better team. But that's not always the point to win games, as we've seen yesterday in Italy, where Juve lost 4-1 against Empoli or something like that.
It was, exactly. That result, remember that the third from bottom, they play out, probably it will be against Hamburg, a historic team in the Bundesliga, because we have Darmstadt already promoted to the Bundesliga, and Heidenheim, if they win away, they will be promoted as well. And perhaps we see Hamburg-Bochum in the playoff to stay in Bundesliga or to get relegated. What we know, Radek, is that Hertha will play in Bundesliga 2. Sad news for a team with a lot of history, with a lot of money as well. And their last game and sad game will be against Wolfsburg. And Wolfsburg, they also need to win to try to qualify for European spots.
Yeah, and the ironic thing is that Hertha wanted to buy the success and go to the international spots in this year or the year before, and they invested a lot of money, but I don't know where, because the players they have are really not worth the money if they are relegated. And this is very sad. And on the other hand, another Berlin club with Union Berlin might be in the Champions League next year with a tiny budget in comparison to Hertha. So that's also the beauty of football. That's not only about money.
Indeed.
And I think, the Bundesliga has way better teams than Hertha. So I personally don't miss them a lot. And in this game, I would also say they will also lose the last game against Wolfsburg, as Wolfsburg has home advantage and has to make some points. But I think they also won't score a lot of goals here. That's why I really like the under market here, which is kind of against the trend, as we see a lot of goals within the last game days. But in this game, I only see two destructive teams and not much goals. And that's why under 3.25 goals with odds of 1.85 or 1.9 is the best thing I can find here, because the odds on Wolfsburg are also very low.
Well, Radek, this is it. We've been speaking 34 weeks, so many games. We have to do the maths, but I'm not going to do them now.
Yeah,
a lot of
time.
Long time, a lot of money, I'm sure our users have made, and I hope also that they were entertained by our videos in the Bundesliga. Let's finish this season in a good mood with another ACCA and another best bet. Let's start with your best bet.
Yeah, it's more because I hope it, and Freiburg should not lose at Frankfurt to have chances to go to the Champions League. And that's why Asian Handicap 0 on Freiburg with odds of 1.9 is my favorite bet on this really, really hard and very interesting last game day.
Indeed, it's interesting. We see in other leagues a lot of games with nothing to play for. We've analyzed, and all the games are interesting. In this match day, tell me your ACCA then to finish.
Yeah, I would combine these Asian Handicap 0 of Freiburg with two other Asian Handicap 0s, as I think Leverkusen also is not losing at Bochum. Asian Handicap 0 on Leverkusen has really decent odds of 1.5. And the third one in this combination will be... let me look. It's Gladbach Asian Handicap 0 at home against Augsburg. I think 1.7 is also really great for that. And altogether, we get odds of 5.0. And I hope we will finish this season with a winner. And otherwise, I hope you enjoyed everything. Thank you, Eduardo. Thank you for watching. I really enjoyed it. And I'm so excited for the next game days. And yeah, have a good summer.
Thank you, Radek. Thanks, everyone. Don't forget, press the like, subscribe, and keep liking us, of course, and following us. Bye-bye.